Yeah, I mean, it sounds great. I think I think the first time I heard about these kind of investments, I certainly sort of thought, okay, this almost sounds too good to be true, right? It almost sounds like something that, okay, short term, high rate of return, I get cash every month. Okay, like there's a lot of weird stuff going on in the market right now. It kind of makes me nervous. What are some of the ways that you things you've seen? Because you've worked with a lot of investors, you've seen a lot of these notes sort of come through. You've seen what they can have. What are some of the things you would tell folks on the call that are thinking, okay, like what happens if the collateral doesn't sell? You know, what's the risk to the investor? What are some of the things you typically see, and what are the things you typically say to people that are considering this when they have those questions?
That's a great question. That it's an important issue to address that is involved in private mortgage notes. What we have seen, and here's the worst case scenario that can happen. If a investor purchases a private mortgage note, and just so you know, over the last 200 loans that we have done, we have had one loan that has had to been foreclosed on. So our track record is really good because of the way that we work with the borrowers, the way we qualify the borrowers to make sure that they are experienced at flipping property and they're holding the credit score of around 700. So I will share the risk, but knowing that it's very, very small that this possibly could happen. But here's what could happen. If the borrower defaults, the person that owns the note has a note that is at 60 to 75% of current market value. Now that current market value has been put on by our company, who, keeping in mind that we are the ones that are lending our money first before we sell that note to an investor. So we're taking all the risk up front when we make that investment. So when we comp out that property, we're very conservative. And when I've looked back and taken a look at what these properties are actually selling for, they're selling for 10% more than the price that we said it was worth. So here's the worst case. God forbid, the borrower does not perform, they don't make their payments, and they go into default. What we do is we take and we help our note holder through this process. We would just take that property to auction. We tag on any cost that has been incurred to foreclose. We would tag on any back interest. And the way things are at the auction, a property at that LTV is going to sell at auction. The investor gets all of their money back. The only downtime we have is it does take a few months to make that happen. So that's really the worst case scenario.
Okay, interesting. I mean, I think it's helpful to hear the worst case scenario. Talk about what the reaction you've had, though, from the investors that have done this today, especially some that may have come in a little like I did when I first heard about this, wondering, okay, maybe I'll give it a shot. What are some of the stories you hear back from some of your customers that have given this a shot and and start getting those checks every month?
That's a great question. I work with a couple of different people who have been real estate investors for years, and they had just got to a place where they kind of got, I guess, burned out on buying and rehabbing and getting their hands dirty. And the beauty of what they like about what we're doing is the hardest work that they have to do is to take a look at the documents, do their due diligence, and go to the mailbox every month and get their interest check. I work with another investor who, prior to buying a note, he had just purchased about 21 homes in some kind of a short sale situation. But what he said to me is when he looked at our program, he said, everybody is a winner with River Forest. Everybody from the borrower to the note holder. So the real estate investors understand exactly what we're doing and like the fact that we are doing our due diligence before we present that loan to them because, like I said before, when we make the loan, it's our money first.
Yep. Hey, we have a lot of great questions. I want to thank everybody for submitting their questions, and we've got we'll definitely get as many as we can. Deborah, related to this, when an investor is interested in a particular investment, do they have a chance to review the loan package? What level of transparency do you have for a potential investor in terms of the details of the property, of the investment, and the entire package?
Oh, Matt, we are full, complete disclosure. The person purchasing the note, the investor, will receive a copy of the note and deed of trust. They're going to see all the loan documents, preliminary title, AVM, the comparables that we pulled. They're going to see a copy of the hazard insurance, which is something we require of the borrowers other than on a condominium. We don't require it for that. So when the investor makes the investment, they are going to see every document that we have that we use to originate that loan.
That's great. That's fantastic. Hey, you know, we're talking mostly about the investment opportunity here and the way that it works. Can you talk a little bit about River Forest Financial? Who is River Forest? How is River Forest different? And how can River Forest really be a partner for both those that want to invest in these type of private mortgage notes, as well as realtors who may want to either invest in it themselves or introduce this as a money-making option for their clients and network?
Okay. Well, first of all, I think, from my perspective, is that what River Forest has done and what Dave Huey, the CEO, has done, who is a brilliant software engineer, he has developed a system that's behind the scenes that our clients and our staff see. This system, we call it the PTS system, Property Tracking System, and what it allows us to do is to monitor minute by minute what is going on at the auction. So in many cases, when buyers go to the auction, they're there. They don't know exactly all the details of what's happening when opening bids drop. So in many cases, because our software goes in every 15 minutes and pulls the most up-to-date information, we are able to contact the people, the borrowers that work with us, and give them a heads up as to great deals at the auction. What this means for the investor is that we're able to, because of this technology, we're able to develop some of the best quality notes out there. Like I said, we've had so few issues with the loans that we've done, and that's not always the case with other companies that sell private mortgage notes. The other beauty is that we originate the loan ourselves. We do all the comparables, we do all our due diligence before we make that loan. Now, for realtors, what we've put together is we have a referral program that can be extremely lucrative to the realtor. I work with that realtor very closely with their clients if they choose to refer someone to us. And when the realtor refers a client to us, that client's probably, if they come in to work with us, they're probably going to do business with us maybe 2 to 3 times per year. The average investment is around $175 to $200. So let's say, for example, a realtor refers a client to us. Each time that client purchases a note, whether it's the first time or they choose to roll their funds into a new note when one pays off, that realtor will receive a referral fee of 0.5%. So what that means to them, if a client purchases over the course of a 12-month period of time, let's say they purchase 3 loans from us, they're going to receive somewhere, depending on the value, around $3,000 to $4,000 in referral fees over the course of that year. So you could see if an agent referred us, 5 to 10 clients, at 10 clients, they would be increasing their annual income, and it's very passive for them, about $30,000. So once they refer that client to us, we handle everything. Of course, we'll keep them in the loop as to what's going on with the client.
www.riverforestfinancial.com